Okay, so good afternoon everyone for the third time. And today our group will present to all of you the story of Chinese silk. And the story that we will download today will talk about silk from its origin to its development and its value and even how China has lost its monopoly on silk. And firstly, let's come to talking about the origin and the development of silk. So firstly, in terms of the origin, because silk is considered a very precious good in the history of China, so the origin of silk has been recorded in many legends, and among all of the legends, the central figure is always the Lei Tzu Empress or Li Dou, for you guys to remember it more easily. And the story that we chosen has been written in the Sima Qian records or Sử Ký Tư Mã Thiên. It tells that in an afternoon of the 2700s before century, the Lei Tzu Empress, when she was walking in the garden with many other noble ladies, she found out a mechanism of silk thread making. It was when a cocoon dropped into a hot teacup and it loosened, revealing the filament or the silk threads. And she found it very interesting and told her husband, which is the Yellow Emperor, to start introducing silk production and silk commerce to the people of that time. And she was credited for pioneering silk production, silk commerce, and even inventing the wheel spinning that people used to make silk. And she was then called the Silkworm Empress or Tian Tam. And that is about the legend. The legend had it that. However, archaeological findings indicated that silk has appeared in China for very long before the legend. So in Henan province, China, in 2019, the archaeologists had found a coffin with urns inside containing the body of a dead person, and this body is covered in the fabrics that after examining, people have indicated that it is silk. And this silk is said to belong to the Yangshao culture or nền văn minh ngưỡng thiều, which was like 7,000 to 5,000 years ago. So it was like 1 or 2 millennium before the legend that I have said previously. And that is about the origin of silk. Next, about the development. So I will only talk about it very briefly here because the detailed information will be discussed further in the next part. And silk is the most developed inside China in the Shang dynasty. So in this time, here you can see the painting by Zhang Shan, an artist of the Shang dynasty, portraying women pounding silk. And in this time, silk weavers of the Shang dynasty become more skilled, and most of the skilled weavers are women. And in terms of agriculture, because silk production is considered very important, so mulberry trees were also encouraged, and it took up a very huge portion of the agricultural field because many people farmed it for leaves that will be used to feed the silkworm. Lastly, in terms of commerce, so silk previously was thought to be only for the rich and the noble class. However, in this time, it reached a wider range. Yet it was not available to everyone of the society. And in the external market, the overland Silk Road and the maritime Silk Road has brought silk to many other lands of the world. So firstly, the overland Silk Road, as you can see the map here, it has, thanks to the appearance of caravans and middlemen, silk has been used for trading and also to pay tribute to other countries, as in the tribute system. And here, silk has reached many other lands like Like here, here in the 13 to 14. Like in Central Asia and Mediterranean in the 1st century before century to 3rd century before century, and India, Persia, and Arab territories in the 4th to 10th century, and lastly also it reached Europe and the Middle East in the 13th to 14th century. The Maritime Silk Road has brought silk all the way through Southeast Asia and India and Arabia to East Africa and Europe. And here also witnessed the construction of many ports and economical development in the coastal cities along the route. Especially the Indian Ocean, as you can see here, is considered the Silk Highway, and it complemented with the overland Silk Road to increase the volume of silk being exported.
Okay, so my name is Phương Mai, and after we explore about its origin and the development of silk production, I would continue to discuss with you guys about the effects of the silk production on the routes on the silk roads. So it is irrefutable that silk production has impacted the silk road on various aspects, but our group only focuses on two major impacts. The first one, the silk industry is a driving force of Chinese monopoly. There is a fact that with an increasing demand of silk, and also there is well-preserved techniques of Chinese silk production. Silk became a luxurious and also a scarce commodity, which was often traded with so many other expensive goods, even including gold. So as a result, China is the first country to invented the techniques of silk weaving, so it has a chance to control the entire supply of silk along the silk roads and create a monopoly. And also the second impact of the development of silk industry is the establishment of trade routes and also the flourishing of cities along the silk roads. There is a fact that in the 1st century before Common Era to the 3rd century Common Era, the Silk Road was traded from China to through Central Asia to Mediterranean, and from the 4th and the 10th century, trade further expanded to India, Persia, and Arab, and also integrate new regions to the silk market. And between the 6th and the 10th century, silk production first appeared in the Byzantine Empire through the Act of the Middleman to explore the silkworm rearing and silk weaving from China. And in 13th to 14th century, the silk traded even expanded rapidly to Europe and the Middle East through the movement of the silk caravans along the silk roads.
Hi class, my name is Quỳnh Chi, and in my presentation I will introduce the historical value of the silk industry. Another important impact is consider that silk wasn't and it's a ritual used to wear a banner or create painting. It's highlight to create the in movement of the spiritual culture found during the excavation along a silk road. For example, terracotta in the Tang Dynasty is divided in a dancer and marks performance. Who is a facial with the regime with a Central Asia. And next, The Great Silk Road has a tremendous role in the penetration of the religion ideas. It makes a different penetration along the Silk Road, carry the faith to region lands. For example, Buddhism is from the century of the Asia to the eastern of the Turkestan, while Christianity and later Islam is spread from the islands Syria, Iran, and Abbas. Next slide. Let's move on to the politic value. China reflects in imperial. The government strictly to control the production and distribution, which is the way the government to power and imperial press. Another important way is maintain the hierarchy and stability. The government is not only to show the appreciation, and they will refuse political in the politics system. In the third part is diplomatic value. China establishes relation with a country according to the West, the East, the Central, and the South Asia, East Africa, and even Europe. In diplomatic mission, for example, Chiang Chien and Chiang Ke, I can not only correct this word, and I will to explain is Chiang Chien và Trịnh Hòa. It helps to explain China understanding the region and the world, strengthen the position as a dominant power in the Asia. And the last but not least is technological value. It's worth to highlight that steel production wasn't simple at all. It involved complex progress, requires specialized knowledge. It's only to Chinese innovation stand out as a significant technological milestone in the first millennium's common era. And I will to invite the last presenter.
Hi everyone, my name is Nhật Linh, and for the last part I will present about the loss of China's silk monopoly. For many centuries, China was the only country in the world producing silk, but over time, this monopoly was broken as other silk production spread to other countries. The first major shift happened around 300 AD when Japan adopted sericulture, the techniques of raising silkworm from China through Korea. Japan quickly developed its own silk industry, becoming independent from Chinese silk, and this marked the beginning of China's lost monopoly in silk production. And then in 552 AD, the Byzantine Empire made a bold move. Emperor Justinian I sent two Nestorian monks to Central Asia, and these two monks smuggled silkworms hidden inside hollow bamboo staffs, and they brought it back to their countries and to Constantinople, the capital city of the Byzantine empires. And the Byzantines established their own silk production, ending China's exclusive prominence in silk production. And following that, between the 11th and 13th centuries, Italian cities like Venice, Florence, and Lucca, learned silk weaving through trade and cultural contact with the East, and they built a strong silk industry that became central to European markets. And in the 16th century, France joined the race thanks to the collaboration with Italian weavers. The city of Lyon became developed into a silk center, making France a leading European silk producer. However, this success declined later due to a silkworm disease. During Industrial Revolution, countries in Western Europe introduced new technologies, including jacket loom. The machine, as you can see on the screen, this is jacket loom. This invention helped silk production more faster and more efficient, and allowed Western countries reduce their dependence on Asian silk, and Europe became more self-sufficient in textile production. And then in 20th century, China and Japan managed to recover and modernize their silk industry, and they regained their roles as global leaders in silk manufacturing, combining traditional methods and modern technology. In conclusion, China's monopoly in silk production slowly disappeared as the knowledge and technology spread through Asia and Europe. But even after losing its monopoly, China, along with Japan, managed to return to the top of the silk industry in modern era. And silk was not only a fabric, but it's also a symbol of cultural exchange and technological innovation. And that's all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.